What'd you say about me?
I say you have a fun habit of pointing out how negative the media I take in is.
Yeah, it's because it's true.
Do you want to hear the content warning for this book?
Go ahead.
We got sexual assault, extreme violence and gore, gun violence, cults, and racial slurs. Yeah. Almost you could say so negative it rounds back to be...
No.
I know I said I was going to read the Final Girl Support Group first, and that is my next book. But I got this, and I was like, oh, it's super short. It's going to be like a 2-3 day read tops. And it was. This book is called Beware.
That says be warb.
And it is a trip and a half. Please don't read this book. Lacey is a newspaper journalist for her small town in Arizona, and a friend of hers has a convenience store that, like, some weird stuff has been happening, and so they're talking about it, and they're like, oh, is it ghosts? But then Lacey happens to be going by the convenience store and finds her friend's body dead and mutilated, and then Lacey is knocked out and assaulted. She runs home to escape this unknown assailant, but he follows her home. And then she discovers he is somehow invisible. Like, truly, like, not even there. So, to escape him again, she throws flour on him to, like, find out where he is, and then stabs him, and then runs off to Tucson, which is the nearest big city, and she gets a hotel room there to hide out, and that's where she meets Scott, a crime thriller novelist. While at the hotel, they are both attacked by the Invisible Man, and after knocking him out, Scott calls a friend of his named Duquesne, who Scott tells Lacey is the inspiration for, like, the protagonist of all of his crime thriller novels. The friend, Duquesne, meanwhile, has been infiltrating a murderous sex cult in order to, a client has hired him to save their daughter who has been indoctrinated into this cult. After finding his client dead the next day, Duquesne is like, oh no, the cult is now after me, and so he tries to escape from them. While on the run, he gets Scott's call, and so he runs to the rescue to Tucson. The invisible attacker, it turns out, is also on the run from the cult. He used to be one of their, like, live-in assassins, and then they turned him invisible with this experimental satanic magic thing where they just, like, had the head of some guy, and then they buried it with some beans, and then you eat the beans and you turn invisible. Okay, so Lacey, Scott, and Duquesne are unwillingly teamed up with the Invisible Man, you know, like enemy of my enemy sort of thing. The cult corners them in this, like, old frontier house where they are trying to defend themselves until just a rain of gunfire and then, like, actual fire kills both Hoffman, the Invisible Man, and the leader of the cult. Lacey returns home and just in an attempt to escape all of the misfortune that she's had, she tries to do this experimental experiment thing with the head of the cult leader that she took from the house, even though it's all charred and luckily, Scott finds her having survived the fire. Duquesne survives as well somehow. And they embrace, and the story fades to black as they just bury the head out in the desert and try to get away from all of this. So much like the climactic fire that killed the antagonist of this story, I want to burn this book because it is now my enemy. If the extreme subject matter weren't enough, and the very explicit text, it is somehow also sort of written at a very juvenile level. Like, it's not very... Yeah. The only reason I got this book and I read it is because I found it at a thrift store and I read the back of it. When reporter Lacey Allen stumbles upon a carnage of dismembered bodies in her local market, she enters a nightmare beyond her wildest dreams. She attempts to confront the brutal attacker, but she can't see him. She can only feel him. His hands are all over her body, feverishly groping her with a perverse passion. More limbs fall, more blood flows as she remains under his demonic spell. Escaping, she seeks out help only to find the invisible terror close behind, slaughtering all that stands between them. Black magic has cast this satanic hex, and only death can free her. So, that's a lot. But I thought, ooh, satanic spells, woman passionately groped, murder, sex, what a weird overlap. Is she like under his spell but wants to escape, but oh, he's so charming, sort of like a bodice ripper kind of story. I thought it was gonna like lean into the so bad it's good territory. But no, it's just bad. And okay, is magic real? It has to be real because he is invisible. But how is it real? And the cult, like members of it mention that they have like mind reading capabilities, like they can like keep in contact. What? Like, what is their goal? At one point, Hoffman overheard the leader of the cult saying that she, the cult leader is a woman, saying that she wants to kill the president, the vice president, and the speaker of the house. Presto, instant chaos. We'll be free to do whatever we want. Like, whatever you want? What is it, though? What do you want? Just, like, more swamp orgies? But anyway, now on to the final girl support group, and then I'm going to read this 3-part book series that I read in high school that I think back on every now and again, and I was like, was that a fever dream? What was that book series? Anyway, bye. I know I said... You good?
Yeah, just dying a little.